What's going on? What's going on? Big J in the place tonight. What's going on? What's going on? How you doing the journey? Miss Montgomery, Christina. What's going on? Big J said, "Who dislike already?" Um, I can't see that because I'm in the chat. I'm in the chat box, but I'm sure. I'm sure the haters are going to be present regardless. Um, Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me get a couple ones in the comment section so I can just. There's not very many of y'all here right now, so just let me know if you can hear what I'm saying. If I got my audio on. Solid, 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 solid. All right, bet on. Y'all can hear me. Cool. Is it? It just. I don't know if it's just where I'm at, but the firework thing is getting kind of ridiculous. There are a whole lot of conspiracy theories on why everybody's neighborhood is still blowing up with fireworks, and the last holiday that called for fireworks was over a month ago, I think. And the Fourth of July is coming, so I know it's about to start up again. But that was just weird. Every night in my neighborhood, fireworks, like not just like firecrackers, like look up in the stars, and it's bombs bursting in the air types of fireworks every night. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but I've heard a lot of people around the country are having that same issue. Okay, Mirasol said this all over Cali too. Okay, so it's not just me. Anyway, so y'all hear fireworks in the background. It's getting late, sundown. It seems to be that time. So forgive me if that becomes distracting. I guess I'm gonna dig right into this. Um, Hold on. It says you can't wait 24 hours, etc. What's going on? Okay, I'm not sure what's going on over there. Oh, look, wow, we're gonna get right into it today. K Janae, super chat, no question, just love. I appreciate you. Um, I appreciate that. Um, Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, we still on. So the live on Wednesday. Somebody said, "What happened to the live on Wednesday?" Indig. Oh, I was not going live on Wednesday. I think YouTube saved one of my scheduled lives. Y'all remember if you went to the last live, it took a while for me to get onto the live. I was like 20 minutes late, and it wasn't because I wasn't there. I was on time, but because I scheduled the live on my phone, it would not allow me to start it on my computer. And so I went through a lot of back and forth with YouTube, and I think in that weird little space of time, I might have scheduled one on accident, trying to start or figure out why my phone wasn't letting me connect. So on Wednesday, one of my clients hit me like, "Hey, you're live and people have been waiting. You even got a super chat." I was like, I woke up an hour later, like, man, I just woke up. I was asleep. I had no plans to go live. Listen, sometimes that's going to happen, but you'll always see an Instagram post from me. That's why it's important to follow me on Instagram. You'll always see a YouTube community post or something else alluding to me going live. So always try to make sure that you double check that against another source, because I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, but that was a mistake. I didn't even realize I had one scheduled for that day. So y'all forgive me for that. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna dig into this. Um, Somebody says, Jordan Wells says, "How you doing, Jordan?" Says, "What does it mean if a guy tells you he knows?" Tight. Oh man, I'm tripping. What does it mean if a guy tells you how he feels at the last minute after deflecting my feelings toward him, and now he's acting like he doesn't care anymore? Why is that? It would be very difficult for me to say exactly why he's acting that way. I feel like maybe in missing that opportunity, you potentially made a move that he was unhappy with. He might not like the fact that you gave him whatever resistance that he's oh, excuse me, he's interpreting whatever your experience was prior to him saying how he felt as resistance. That's probably why he delayed his confession of feelings, so to speak. He didn't feel quite welcome. Maybe you feel in some way unavailable to him. And so if I was you, I'd just have a real conversation with him instead of trying to measure whether or not he's acting like he cares. Get some understanding. If you have enough intimacy established that he can have that conversation with you in the first place and tell you how he feels, then I don't feel like you're like losing face or you're positioning. If you just let him know that, maybe you are noticing him in a different way, and you should probably discuss your real feelings for each other instead of trying to guess. That's what I would tell you. You waste so much time trying to save face and not make yourself look stupid or not be rejected or doing and guessing things and taking hints. It's just not, it doesn't make any sense. Helen Smith, so thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate you. Um, somebody said, Kev, I have a question. If you teach a guy how to treat you, how would I know if he gets it? Is it consistency? Is it his behaviors? Yes, it's a consistent behavior of the things that you've hopefully established as your standards for him. And in this same thing, I think that so to answer your question, yes, it's consistency and it's behavior. Actions speak louder than words. If his actions aren't congruent with your standards for him, then it doesn't matter what he says. But with that same thing, I think a lot of times the focus gets put on, the woman's standards and what she wants. You have to realize that in establishing your standards for a man, it gives him an opportunity to connect with you and establish his standards for you as well. So always make sure that you at least are mindful that goes two ways. So if a guy is not necessarily sharing what he would prefer from you, it's a good opportunity to ask if you're having one of those conversations in which you're trying to break down what you need from him or what you would hope to have from him. Let me see. Somebody said, "Hey, Kev, finally caught you live. It's 4:30 a.m. in South Africa. Love to South Africa." I've talked to a lot of people in Nigeria. I've talked to some people in Sudan. I've talked to people all over Africa. I don't think I've spoken to anybody and got on FaceTime for anybody in South Africa yet. I've done that in Nigeria a couple of times and some other African countries, but I'd like to FaceTime from South Africa. If somebody has a good city view, let me know and we can potentially FaceTime on a call. Hello from Chicago. I just seen that. It was random. Um, Shay says, how do you get over a man who faked love for you for the entirety of your relationship, 1+ year? I don't know. I think that if you were with a person officially for a year, it's very difficult. But if you were just messing with the person for a year and it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, that sounds like what you're saying seems extreme. Unless a person said they faked it for you, I'm wondering if you're not just asserting that as the reality because you're coming from a hurt place. I would have to know a lot more about that situation and not to discredit where you're coming from or being sensitive to your feelings. But unless a person said that exact thing, it would be very difficult for me to assume that, that's just how it happened if you were actually with them for a year. Now, if you were just being screwed for a year, just having sex with the person for a year, hoping for more, that's different. And so I guess a person can't fake loving for you if they're not loving you through their actions. And that's what I'm saying. Like actions speak so much louder than words. Hi, VN. Thank you so much for the super chat, $3 Canadian. But like I said, it's very difficult for a person I'm gonna get her question if I can find it, Kev. I think I got it. It's very difficult for a person to fake love for you in their actions. A person might tell you they love you. A person might make to you or make love to you, have sex with you, but it's very difficult for a person to fake love through their actions. When a person loves you and they're being selfless for you, they're serving you, they're nurturing you, they're helping you, they're supporting you. Like that. That's not something that a person fakes. It's either in their heart for you or it isn't. And so I'm doubtful that he was faking for a year if he was showing you through his actions that he loved you. If he was just telling you he loved you, if he was just giving you lip service and because you were, drowning in your feelings for him, you were accepting that lip service and then making love to the guy, that's a whole different scenario. So I haven't seen a man fake love and support and all of the things that one might do to be selfless for their mate for a year. But I have seen a guy just give a girl enough lip service to give himself some lip service and explore her body. So I would have to know more about that situation. I hope that helps. Chanel Love was the first. Let me see. I don't even. Okay. Chanel Love says, "Hey Kevin, can you answer my question?" I'm gonna go up here and try to. Why would he say I'm not interested after I said I'm done? Did I? Maybe that was okay. Hey guys, was trying to reschedule. No flaking. We started to argue. He says I'm not interested. Okay. Chanel Love, first question. I think this says hi. A guy I was trying to reschedule our date with, and I said no. A guy I was trying to reschedule our date, and I said I'm done. He then says you can't wait 24 hours, etc. I wasn't going to allow no flaking. We started to argue. He says I'm not interested. Why say that? I think he's just having a temper tantrum and maybe not getting his way. A lot of guys don't like to be challenged. A lot of guys don't want to be, required very much of, or they don't want to feel like they're expendable or like they're trying to get your attention. There's a certain masculine energy, and it usually comes from it, the immature side of a man that doesn't want to be challenged in that way. So if you blatantly tell a man that maybe he needs to step it up, he's more likely to rebel against whatever you're proposing than to go along with it. He's more likely to walk away than self-correct. And a lot of people have just a lot of pride, and they don't want to be corrected, and they have issues with authority. And while you might not have authority over him, anything that challenges him might feel like authority. So he'd rather just burn down the bridge, or stop communication, or say something toxic like I quit, or I don't like you no more, I'm not interested, instead of just checking himself and doing the right thing. I hope I understood where your question was going. Sounds like you just got in an argument with a guy over a reschedule, and he had a temper tantrum. So if he feels like that, then his interest wasn't high enough to begin with, and he's a little bit too volatile for you in a real relationship. Yeah, I can imagine being in a relationship with somebody who immediately went there. Kind of added something final to the argument in order to win the argument. You've won the battle, but you lost the war because now the relationship is over. He just doesn't have what it takes. Don't wonder why. Don't try to compute why. Don't take inventory of why. Don't try to figure it out. Don't investigate it. Just move on. Let me see what's going on. A pretty girl got free. Okay. Chandrea C, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate it. Let me see. Somebody said, how to get a guy 101. Just focus on yourself, ladies, and boss up. That definitely works. But that's something that you say from a power position. A lot of women aren't feeling that powerful or feeling that empowered. And so it's very difficult for them to put themselves in that position where they feel like, okay, just focus on myself and boss up. Sometimes when you're a little bit low or a little bit disappointed or a little bit disenchanted with things, it's very difficult to pull yourself into a place of power like that. That's absolutely right. But sometimes it takes a while for a woman to get to that place. Bossing up is an idea that we all have and we hopefully create for ourselves. Bossing up for a woman might just be doing her job better, and growing her finances or her bank account, or picking up a new skill, or self-love. Bossing up for others might be getting a new job, getting their college diploma. Like that's a broad range. You're absolutely right. But I think that what bossing up is and how that might help a woman, it has to be defined by her, because bossing up is what gives you the confidence to not need a man. And first, we all need companionship, so don't misunderstand me. But bossing up is just making yourself so proud, being fruitful enough that you're too busy to worry about being sad over a guy, or chasing one down, trying to get him to behave himself. And when people see that emotional independence and that social independence and that financial independence, many times they come to you instead. So she's absolutely right. But again, what provides that confidence and that energy boost for every woman might be different. So bossing up means something different for every woman. Light and Joy, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She says, Kev, when a man loves a woman, it's so obvious in his speech and his actions toward her, and even by the way he looks at her. But when a man doesn't, it's like he's tolerating her. How can women avoid that? Don't be tolerated. No more so than I'd like to be tolerated by people who hate my particular demographic. I like my lines clearly drawn. I think it's very important that when you catch a man tolerating you, you move backwards, um, or at least stand in place, but you don't go forward. A lot of times when women are being tolerated, they do what they can to bridge the gap. They go out of their way to try to create the connection that's lost or that's there that's not actually being honored. And so, what you need to do when a man is just tolerating you is, first of all, don't come forward anymore. And if he doesn't come forward, he's not meeting you in the middle at least. Then you might want to start looking at other options romantically, or start trying to prepare yourself romantically for and emotionally for some kind of separation. If you don't just cause a separation or decide to separate yourself, because to be tolerated is ultimately to be resented, because a person that gets tired of tolerating you starts to resent you, and that doesn't do you any good either. So if you avoid that, the easiest way to avoid that is to make sure that you don't accept being tolerated, that you require that love and that attention, that attentiveness to be reciprocated. What you give is being reciprocated for the whole time. So call everything out as it happens. Virgo Queen 215, thank you so much for the $10 super chat and dancing pair. Number one fan, I appreciate that. I like them little fruits y'all be throwing at me. VN say, help me kill this thought. I will never be deserving of love, no matter how much I improve myself inside of out. Other women will always win. I think that the key to everything that you just said, or the part that sticks out to me the most, one might believe it would be the first part, but it's actually other women will always win. In order for you to start winning in your head, VN, you need to stop comparing yourself to other people. It's such a toxic thing to start to look at yourself through the lens of everyone else around you. Um, Me personally, I can speak from experience. When I look at other people, and when I judge whatever other people have, and then I look at what I have, when I judge whatever other people are, and I look what I am, like, there's always somebody's going to be doing something you want to do better than you. There's always going to be somebody that looks better, that has a better physique, that has more money in their pocket, that has better results in life. There is an endless supply of reminders that we aren't as great as someone else around us at all times, and most people spend a lot of money to make sure that they become that reminder for you. They filter their Instagram posts, they buy a bunch of shit that they can't afford to impress a bunch of people they don't like, and then you end up getting very impressed by that shit, because you don't understand that your reality belongs to you and theirs belongs to them. You hope to adopt their reality, and when that's not possible, you despise your reality. I don't know how to kill that whole thought. And I speak to you on the regular, so we'll talk about this later. But the biggest thing that you could do to help yourself at the moment is to stop comparing yourself to anyone. Learn to compare yourself to who you were yesterday, and that would give you much more help than anything else you can do on the quick. If you can just convince yourself to stop comparing you to anyone else outside of who you were yesterday, and who you were the year before, and the year before, and the year before. Who you're growing into is who you're comparing yourself to. That's the goal. Who you can grow into, who you have the propensity to be. Sabrina Newman, thank you so much for the $3 super chat. A pretty girl sent it to me. I finally got to it. I'm sorry. Let me see, make sure I got something. Okay. Chandra C asked how to handle a man calling and saying he misses you and loves you after 5 years apart. Give him a small opportunity or not. Chandra, it depends very heavily on why he's an why he's an ex-boyfriend in the first place. Way too many people almost relive their old lives again and just waste more time. But there are some instances in which an ex can be an appropriate decision to make if the thing that separated you didn't have anything to do with, disrespect, disregard, integrity, toxicity, abuse. There are some really good. There are some really good reasons to give an ex a try, but there are also some really good reasons to never speak to them again in life. And so I don't know why he's your ex. I don't know what caused you guys to break up. What was the force behind it? What was the reasoning? It just depends on who he was and what he was doing that caused you guys to be separated, or what you were doing. So I'd need to know a little bit more about that, this scenario before I could give you responsible advice, right? I could just tell you, oh no, it's an X, leave him alone. But I don't know that guy. So I need to know a little bit more. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me through girltalkwithguys.com. We could do a consultation. We could do an email exchange, but I'd like to help you with that if you want that help. Sanja Teal, love and respect. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. She says, Salome, I don't know what LBN is. Everybody keeps hitting me with the acronyms. I keep seeing that. Please let me know what LBN is. Maybe I'm just being slow, but I don't talk to enough people on the internet. I suppose I do. I don't know why. I don't know. I'm not good with acronyms, but maybe Pretty gonna let me. She gonna tell me. Somebody gonna tell me what this damn acronym mean. So somebody's gonna tell me what the acronym means. But anyway, Sanja says, "No question, just one of your seasoned supporters showing love." I appreciate you, Sanja. I really do. Uh, I'm definitely gonna look up what the LBN acronym means. I'm sure y'all probably going down in it now, but my comment section isn't actually moving at the moment. It's frozen. Somebody says, "Yes, Kev. Talk about abusive relationships." Did I mention abusive relationships? I probably did. I don't. I don't normally know what I've said after it comes out of my mouth, unfortunately, because I'm skipping between so many different thoughts with different questions. It's almost like rapid fire. Somebody told me it's like playing tennis with 100 people. I like that analogy because I have to switch my thoughts. But yeah, abusive relationships. I think that was in reference to whether or not the young woman should give her ex a try. And I think that if there was some abuse involved, then no. I think that there's some things that should be permanently like held against a person if they commit them because they have the propensity to do them again. And a man who has a propensity to abuse you, physically or emotionally, intentfully, of course, intentionally, then that should be definitely heavily considered, and you shouldn't probably get back with that person. Gina Girelli. She says, how can a woman tell the difference between real love and just attachment obsession that may end up short-lived? Attachment and obsession is generally one of two things. And this isn't the totality of this whole situation or this whole scenario, but there are one or two things. As obsession or attachment are either based out of need, or they're based out of sexual desire. So lust creates attachment and need creates attachment. Two poor people getting like let's say you're poor, your friend's poor, y'all need each other to live, so y'all have a house together, right? Y'all are coming together out of a need, right? Not of an appreciation or mutual love sometimes, but of a need. If you start a relationship from a place of need and both of you seem to need each other, that creates an obsession or an attachment because you're coming from a very toxic place. So that is one of those reasons. And then the other reason is if you happen to be more sexually drawn to each other than emotionally or spiritually or energetically, that can definitely be something that is a red flag to you just having an attachment or an obsession rather than real love. So that's why I always try to advocate that women take their time jumping in bed with guys, and they always want to tell me about how they have their needs. And what I want people to realize is needs and wants are different, and you need companionship or love to some degree in life. You do not need sex with random people in short-lived relationships. So stop confusing your sexual wants with your emotional and your spiritual needs. Those are different things. And so maybe I answered your question. Neediness is attachment and obsession, and an imbalance of lust is attachment and obsession in the absence of being emotionally supportive of one another. Sabrina Newman, I think if I haven't said thank you for so much for your $3 super chat. Let me make sure I got. Okay, Crystal P, thank you for your $5 super chat. She says, I always have to reach out to friends. One friend claims she'll visit me and don't. I feel lonely living by myself. I always feel bad reaching out to people. I have the same issue with some people. Believe it or not, people just would assume that everybody loves me, but people would assume everybody that, knows me personally would be knocking down my door and stuff like that. I have some great friends that do reach out, but I'm not the type of person that people just be like, yo, what's up? What you doing? Probably because I'm boring. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I'm a family man. I'm pretty predictable. I'm generally the designated driver anywhere I go. So people do that to me too. You get you some friends that like to have the same fun that you have. I think that's the problem. If you don't have the same type of fun people have, they generally forget about you socially, energetically. So get you a tribe that likes to do the same things with their time that you like to do with yours. Okay, I need to speed things up. Okay, pronounce Nia. Pronounce Van Nia. Van Nia. Solid out, Van Nia. She says, would you consider a woman dating multiple guys? Uh, because it hurts me more of dating one person than having to get over them when it's over. I always feel like I've wasted my time. I think that if you're dating and you're not in a relationship, Van Nia, you should be dating multiple people. You shouldn't be screwing multiple people if you want to be safe and you take your life and your sexual health seriously. Shout out to letsgetchecked.com. Check out the link. Get your sexual STD health kit if you need one, or your coronavirus test kit. They have those too. But anyway, plug. Yeah, you want to make sure that you are spreading your energy out just enough that you're not devastated when things don't work out, and you're also not too focused on the wrong person, and you are wasting time. So that's an excellent point. I think that you should, until you develop an understanding with a guy that you're going to be exclusive, you should definitely be dating multiple people until someone earns your respect in that way. Bella Green, I'm getting to know a guy who's 38. He says he's never been in love and hasn't been in a real relationship since high school. And I asked him what love means to him, and he didn't have an answer. Should I run? Whew. If he's 38 and he hasn't been in love and hasn't been in a real relationship since high school, it's not because he's not been offered love. It's because he's not willing to love, or otherwise not capable of loving. I don't think that you should waste a whole lot of time with him. To be quite honest, if he knows what he wants, he'll decide that he wants to chase that opportunity with you. But I would not waste my time dealing with a man who's 38 and hasn't known real love yet, unless he's offering you what looks to be genuine love through his actions and consistency. But if he's inconsistent on the phone, if he's inconsistent texting, if he's inconsistent showing up and trying to be your supporter, if he's not showing you real love, then don't assume you're going to get it, because many women before you did, and look where they are. VN, love and respect. She said, I thought I loved myself once I became a dancer. Thought I loved myself once I became a lawyer. Now I think I'll love myself when I buy a new house. I most likely won't love myself after. That's because you're equating success to a lot of material things. You're not equating success as peace, love, joy, happiness, fulfillment, contentment. That's success. The long and short of success are those things. What you've attempted to replace success with is the accolades that we are trained to have an affinity towards. But those things don't provide fulfillment. Those things don't provide peace, love, joy, happiness, contentment. They are nice plaques on the wall. They're nice things to check off your bucket list, but those things aren't making you happy. So stop chasing. Still continue to thrive. Grow, do your thing, but don't do those things because you think they'll make you love yourself. Loving yourself is as simple and as hard as finding your purpose and serving that purpose. Now, I know what your purpose is, and I think we discussed this at one point. So your purpose, until you get deep into serving your purpose and figuring out how you spiritually can serve the purpose that you were meant to serve here on earth, you might find yourself disenchanted with the emptiness that comes with the accolades that you achieve. So for me, it's very, very important that you focus more on what you're supposed to be doing for other people, focus more on service and your spiritual gift and your spiritual purpose. Those things are more likely to get you closer to loving yourself and accepting what you're supposed to do here than just acquiring things and stuff. If I go buy a pack of pencils, they can be really nice pencils, but they're not going to change my life. No more than a Ferrari would change my life, right? More people say, people are still a pen or a pencil in a minute. They're like, oh, that's a nice pen, and then it's gone. But people like nice cars, and they'll say, oh my God, that's a nice car. And they be at the bus stop, and you feel a little bit good. Oh, somebody at the bus stop thought my car was nice. But none of that shit actually gives you happiness, and none of it really gives you a value to the world. Those are things that you possess and those things you acquire. But your job as a lawyer, specifically in the area that you're being a lawyer, it gets you so much closer to your spiritual purpose that once you get deep enough into that and you get enough control over that, I think that you will find that you're very impressed by yourself and you have a lot to offer the world. And I think that you will find love for yourself, but it won't be through the things you acquire or the accolades. It will absolutely be through the service you provide others. I thought I was pretty great before, but I really am a fan of myself since I've learned how to affect people's lives in a positive way. And I think that everybody will have a similar experience with it if it comes from the heart. Okay, beautiful heart. Speaking of heart, she said, and thank you for your $20 super chat. She said, Kev, it's sad that the number one time men feel tempted to cheat on their wives is when they are pregnant. Some say it's due to lack of intimacy, but because of the lack of attention they no longer receive. Do you agree? I don't know. My wife's been pregnant. I've had 2 kids, and I didn't. At no point feel like I should probably go screw a subscriber, or anybody. That doesn't make any sense to me. So no, I think that if your man's going to cheat, he's taking that opportunity that you're too slow and maybe too unmotivated to follow him around to cheat. But he was definitely. He was definitely going to probably cheat anyway. So, no, anytime you should be able to. This is real. You should be able to not get along with your spouse and still expect them to not screw someone else. You should you should expect to be able to potentially bore your spouse for a month or so, or a couple of months, or go through a rough patch, or just not be so excited about your relationship for a while and still not get cheated on. Relationships happen in cycles, man. They're ups and downs and ins and outs. I think a guy who's just cheating on his pregnant wife has just been waiting on an opportunity for her to sit the hell down and get out of his face long enough so he can cheat on her. Somebody says, Crystal P. Love and Respect. She says, I feel that I am too clingy with people I don't want to be. I was abused as a child and still can't escape the thoughts of the abuse I experienced. Any advice? You need to get yourself some mental help immediately yesterday. And I say that because you have a lot of things to unpack, and you have a lot of triggers that you need to be aware of. And if you're not aware of your triggers because you're too focused on what's triggering you, and you're trying to live a life that doesn't make room for your experience, you're going to get yourself in some trouble. So I could give you a 5-minute explanation, but you just need to go find a professional to try to help you through what you're dealing with. And that way you don't have to rewind this tape over and over. You can just get somebody who's working on your specific case. I think it's very imperative that you go get help trying to figure out what your triggers are, how people are triggering them, and that way you don't have to worry so much about being so clingy. I think that people are triggering that in you with certain behaviors that you need to be aware of. That way you can avoid putting the wrong people in your circles, igniting certain issues in your life. All right, so I'm gonna try to get through these because this is moving pretty quick. Moonlit Wit says, "Hi Kev, I've been seeing a guy for 2 weeks. I still talk to and showed me pics of his. He still talked to and showed me pics of his ex. They broke up 7 months ago. He says it's because she's a good person and her dad always has been there for him. Should I drop him? No, you shouldn't necessarily drop him just because he's okay with his ex, but you do have to set some boundaries, and you have to create those boundaries for yourself. So I can't tell you what the boundaries should be, but you shouldn't drop him because he's okay with his ex. But if he can't create enough separation for you to be comfortable with, then that's a standard that you're going to have to figure out how to deal with, whether or not you decide to separate yourself or not. But I don't know if he's being good to you, if you should just leave him alone. But again, it's only been 2 weeks. You don't know him. You're not attached to him. It might be best to move on. You don't really have any investment in him. Hi from Cali. Curious about how much to share about your past, more specifically sexual partners. Isn't that a slippery slope? It's a slippery slope if you've been with a lot of people, and that's why I try to advise people to, just have a lot of control over themselves when they're younger, because that shit does come back to bite them, and it does become a slippery slope or a topic of avoidance. So I suppose you should probably share what's being asked. or risk that person not feeling like you're being open enough. But that's none of my business at that point. And at some point, you're going to have to realize that you are not the type of girl for every guy if you have a lot of partners. And that's just the bottom line. It's not anything against you. It's not, trying to minimize your value, but a lot of guys need to know that. And they're very insecure about that answer if it comes back and it's a zero behind it or something like that. So that's one of those things that you must reconcile with. Just your reality is that everybody's not going to be for you. And so if you share an information that's going to cause an issue, then just realize that that's going to happen sometimes. But you got to be honest. We're trying to date people honestly and give people, the full benefit of being informed when they date us. So, okay. I'm going to get to them. Pretty girl sending me some text messages or some questions I haven't gotten to yet. It's really thick in here. Vanessa, Kev, excellent video on older women dating younger men. Question: how do you get past the stigma of older women being called thirsty or desperate when we do date younger? But it's okay for men. It's not a valuable. It's not even a valuable topic to explore because there are always ignorant people deciding that because you're doing something they want to do, you're somehow or another small for it. Usually people are just hating. Usually it's women who can't do what you're doing or younger women who aren't pulling the same caliber of young man that you're pulling it as an older woman. So just don't worry so much about what people think. I think the first thing that you need to do if you want success in life is get comfortable with people not liking you. And anything you do and you do well, you will garner some hatred. Like I said, I jumped on here. I hadn't even said hi to people. And Big J was like, damn, you already got a dislike. There are literally people who follow me to dislike my videos. Haters do what they do. That's their job. They hate. Hater, like that's just what they do. So don't worry about those people. I know that's not the wisest advice in the world, but it's just true. It's not worth your time. VC, I believe in God, and it confuses me and makes me feel guilty when I listen to different relationship coaches say not to have sex or self pleasure. Listen, let people run their bedroom and you run your bedroom. Don't do that. Don't even get into a relationship coach telling you to not touch yourself. Listen here, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't none of my business what you're doing. But I can tell you what, you let them run their bedrooms and you run your bedroom. As long as you being safe, yeah, you do your thing. Don't worry about people like that. Kev, a guy told me, and I'm still gonna get to these. I got a few. It's kind of rapid fire right now. Kev, a guy I dated told me I didn't want anything serious, so I told him I need space. Told me he didn't want anything serious, so I told him I need space. That was 4 months ago. He messages me every couple of weeks with combos that go nowhere. Why? Think I may still like him? Yeah, you do still like him because it was a missed opportunity and you didn't get to explore it. So you have the what ifs, and shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and all of that stuff. But if he wanted something serious, he would actually text you something with some substance, and he's still bullshitting. So nothing has changed. You should probably stop returning those text messages. Suze P, 2 months dating, no, 2 months dating, no exclusive. Is consistent with texting and scheduling dates. How would you call a guy out not believing a story of why he was an hour late calling? Said busy at home, but dating app said elsewhere. I suppose you just need to have a conversation with them. It's not necessarily worth you trying to figure it out and think about it too hard if you're not going to have that conversation. Otherwise, you're just guessing, and the guesses are infinite. You can always just drive yourself crazy trying to figure out stuff and put together the missing pieces. Just have a real conversation. If y'all supposed to be in a relationship, then you need to learn how to have conversations about difficult topics. So just force that conversation, but do so in peace without emotion and accusations. No accusations. Use I language. I feel like maybe I've misunderstood something. Can you explain this to me? Ashley Williams, Kev, I'm so sick of these. Can you send me a pic text? It's annoying. We just met. How can I move past this without ruining the vibe? If I send one, at what point do I stop? Just tell him, no, I'm not sending you no pics. Like that's one of the things is just create the boundary. Listen, I'm not sending you no pics. Go on my Instagram and get all the pics you want off my Instagram. Save and copy and paste and print and do what you got to do with the pictures I got on the internet. But I'm not sending you no pictures, especially no naughty pictures. Just create that boundary. The problem is you're trying to be nice about it. You're trying to be cool about it. And so you're getting enough that you're sick of them. You shouldn't be sick of them because you should probably get one from each guy you talk to, and every guy should be corrected. Listen, I'm not saying no damn pics. Next question. Okay, you like that? It's like that? Yes, it's like that. Next question. If you spend enough time with me, you'll have pictures with me and not just of me. Do the damn work, and just be real with people. Stop trying to be nice and be honest and be genuine. Be real with them and set that boundary. Make sure they understand that you take that seriously. Live and love. God bless you, Kev. A grown woman would say, as a grown woman, what would you say the core of love needs to be besides the need for respect, intimacy, and loyalty? Patience and commitment. I mean, patience. I'm sorry, and not commitment, but compromise. If you have patience and you can compromise, and you have respect, intimacy, and loyalty, you're good. But in the absence of compromise, your ass out, and you have irreconcilable differences. At least that's what they call it in divorce court. So yeah, patience and compromise, and you need the patience for when people aren't compromising. I apologize. The IBN, it means sun in Arabic. Oh, okay, cool. Because I've seen it, and every time I see the IBN, Sanja, first of all, thank you for the $5 super chat just to explain something to me for being ignorant of something. She says she apologized. The IBN, it just means sun in Arabic. Thank you so much for educating me and paying me for the education. Because I've always seen that with people who seem to be in Islam, because it's not a common acronym. So now I know. I appreciate that. Know your girl, $5 super chat. I'm so sorry it took me so long to get to you. Know your girl says, how do we date in these COVID quarantine times? How do I get noticed on IG? Seems the only way of meeting people now. Comment section. The comment section, just like if you needed to grow a YouTube channel or grow your social media profile, the easiest thing to do is to go on the pages that have the subject matter that you're most passionate about, and reply to guys' comments. If you notice a guy's comment that you think is clever, you think is witty, reply to people's comments and join the conversation. And people read through those comments looking for things that validate what they already believe, even if they leave a comment or not. Like every time I leave a comment on IG, I read like 10 or 20 comments first, like just to see if I'm the only one thinking, in the direction I'm thinking. And as a person dating and being single, you're looking for someone of a like mind, not just someone who's attractive. You're not just dating a profile pic. You're trying to get a glimpse of that person's mind. And the most genuine portion of IG is the comment section. The people are as stupid as they are in real life. They're as intelligent and brilliant as they are in real life. They forget they're being watched for just a minute because they're in the comment section giving their opinion. They're so focused on giving their opinion and being passionate about their thoughts that they stop pretending for just a split second. And the comment section is probably the greatest way to be noticed, because usually people are checking their comments to see if somebody liked them and if somebody responded to them. So it's the easiest way to get a guy's attention without even trying to jump in his DM and get noticed romantically. You give him a great response that's thought-provoking, and he's like, damn, that was really cool. He might hit you in your DM like, yo, that comment you said was fire. Where do you get that from? How do I get that knowledge? Like, was it a book? Did you read a book? He's going to try to figure out how to talk to you. For a tip, I never made a video about this. Maybe I will later, but if you want a guy's attention on Instagram, if you're trying to make the most out of Instagram, the comment section is probably the most genuine way to do that and get a glimpse of who people are and what they might want from you, and they get a glimpse of what they could get from you intellectually. And if you start in a romantic relationship from the intellect, you have a much better chance at it growing, as long as you don't insert sex prematurely. So Alicia James, thank you so much for the super chat. She said, is it true that a man knows 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 months of dating you, whether or not he wants to marry you? Hold on. Yeah and no. Yes, a man should know 3 to 6 months. And if you're saying dating as in an unofficial dating, like spending time with each other, but not no title and things of that nature, a man knows within the first month of being around you whether or not he wants you to be his girlfriend or not, most of the time. And maybe some guys take 2 months, but it doesn't take that long to know if you want to be with somebody, like, as like a girlfriend, not married, but like officially, right? Commit to them, if you would or not. It really only takes a couple of days. You feel somebody's energy. You just know whether or not you want to deal with them or not. 3 to 6 months of dating, as far as marriage, that's not the same. Guys don't grow up thinking about marriage. That's just not a thing we do. In fact, most of us get married because we know we have to keep our women. It's not necessarily a thing that we grew up saying, "Oh, okay, yeah, I want to be Prince Charming, and I want to sweep a girl off her feet, and I want to put a ring on it, and I want to only have sex with her for the rest of my life," while looking at all the shiny thighs that come out in sundress season. Listen, the guys are just not. We don't pedestalize, and I think I made that word up, but it sounds good, so we're gonna go with it. To place on a pedestalize. We don't pedestalize the idea of marriage like women do because it seems to be an institution that caters to women a lot more than it does men. And men really kind of grow up with a fear of marriage just because we hear so much about the financial loss that men take and the children being taken from them and the house being taken from them. It just doesn't seem like an enchanting idea to us until we really trust a woman. And so in 3 to 6 months, we still don't trust a woman enough. In fact, it takes me particularly a few years to trust a woman enough to be like, oh, maybe I'll marry her. I love my wife, but hell, we got married. I think in year 5, we were engaged in year 3, or I think in year 3, and we got married in year 4 or year 5. And it's just because I've had a lot of 2 year. I've had two-year semi relationships where you thought you had it, and in 2 years somebody gets bored with you and starts to talk about they don't know what they want. Like, men who have been through things need a lot more time to figure out if they want to marry you, because that's not their first goal. Their first goal is just to not be played, to find love that's healthy, and to see if you're going to stick around and not cheat with someone because you pissed them off or they pissed you off. Men have some trust issues sometimes, and so that's something that you need to consider. And 6 months is just not enough for most men. Live and love. I appreciate you and all the other coaches that really give men the uh, uh, playbook of men. But how would you advise those of us who are now frightened because they are aware of all the damage men can do? I think that a lot of you guys get information overload or analysis paralysis. I hate the one thing I absolutely hate about doing YouTube is that when I do videos, somebody always jumps in the comment section like, "Oh no, I'm never dating again after watching this video," and I'm just like, shut up. Shut up. Like, that is not why I'm giving you this information. I'm giving you this information so that if those things arise in your personal life, if that specific scenario happens, you can apply the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to navigate that without wasting 20 years or without being abused, or you have some foresight, you have some inside intel. But if you watch these videos about what men do or what people do in relationships like they're horror movies, you're doing it from the wrong place. You're supposed to just be learning, picking up skills and knowledge. You are not supposed to be trying to figure out. And I missed that super chat. I missed that last super chat pretty good, €5. So could you send me that, please? But you're not supposed to be watching these videos like, oh my God, he's saying that this thing has happened before, so it will happen to me if I date. Every guy is going to do this. We're not speaking for every guy. I'm always speaking specifically about a certain context. And if you use those videos, whether they're from me or any other guy, in the absence of the context, in the absence of the idea and the awareness that somebody who's in that situation has asked me to do that video, or I had a client who's going through this and I think that this thing is a rare possibility, but it can help somebody before it damages them. If you remember that there's context and there's specifics involved, that I'm not just saying these are general things that all men do, it can help you kind of pull back away from being frightened. But until it's your, like, it's not a problem until it's your problem. That's usually a negative comment about people who don't care about the struggles of others. But in this case, I'm not necessarily talking to you unless I'm talking about your situation. Now, of course, get the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Get the game that I'm giving you, but don't run around trying to figure out how to fend off all of this stuff. When you see something and you feel like it's not right, or you encounter somebody that might be making you feel a little bit trepidatious, that's when you start to apply these things to your situation as it applies. But you can't live in fear about anything. Hell, if that's the case, We could all go out here and be shot, robbed, killed, stabbed, kidnapped, sex trafficked. I mean, there are more things that can happen to you out there in the world than even dirty, nasty men can seem to muster up to do. So if that's the case, then all those scary, horrific men shouldn't be any more scary than you going outside and living your life, knowing that it could be your last day. Don't let fear make your decisions for you. I hope that helps. Hmm. And I'm not telling you to shut up, but I'm just saying those comments be like, it's exhausting. There's always a pessimist in the crowd trying to tell everybody just stop dating, and every man is going to do some crazy, ridiculous shit. And they leave out the fact that women are doing crazy, ridiculous shit. They leave out the fact that women are doing as terrible things to men as some men are doing to women. Uh, VC, love and respect. She said, I love being a member of ybslove.com. Very helpful. How do you respond to non judgment? I love how you respond non-judgmental and always empathetic. Thank you, Kev. I appreciate that. And thank you for being a ybslove.com Y Sisterhood member. I will be doing a paid lecture here pretty soon. I'll be making an announcement for that. And in that paid lecture, I'm sorry, if you buy a ticket, you'll actually get 1 month free of ybslove.com, and you might even get a free ebook. I have a second book that I've already written, but it's like a short book, and I might give that away for free for the people who go to this live event that I'm going to be charging for, because it's a specific lecture on a specific topic. It's not just random questions like this. Ellie H, thank you for the €5, and I'm sorry I got to you so late. She says, I've been speaking to a guy since lockdown for 3 months, planning to meet this weekend. We can. Planning to meet this weekend. We can. Should I break off contact if he doesn't? If he doesn't meet you, should you break off contact? I guess. If you feel like he's not being genuine about who he is, and you might be being catfished, then yes. If he has a legitimate reason for being afraid to meet, then that such as COVID, maybe you should reconsider. I guess it just depends on what he gives you as an excuse if he doesn't show up. But if he's avoided meeting you thus far and he's stood you up a couple of times before, then yes, you absolutely need to just move on. Don't let yourself become that person. Did I miss another? Okay. New subscriber. When are you live? Love and respect. I'm live right now. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Um, yeah, I'm live right now. So it's all good. Ask me a question. I'll tell you no lies. All right. Somebody said sent Cash App. Okay, appreciate you. $2 super chat too. She says, ended 27-year friends with benefits. Your advice, thanks. You were friends with benefits for 27 years with a person? That's insane. Ugh. I guess my advice to you is to get around new masculine energy when you're around the same person for that many years, especially sexually and emotionally and socially. Um, all of those things that men seem to be, or all of those things that men are supposed to represent, take their embodiment in him, and you start to see men in a very skewed way if he's the only one that you've dealt with for a while. So it's very, very important that you get around new masculine energy, non-sexually. Just get around, make some friends, meet guys as friends, make some friends with guys. Start to feel out what you want in relationships, because right now your vision is a little cloudy. You've been literally smothering yourself with the same person for 27 years, and it's that can't be healthy. But I'm sure it served its purpose, but now it doesn't. So get around new masculine energy after you make sure that your confidence and your self-concept is intact. But if you're not healthy, then stay away from men and get your stuff together. Get your self-esteem up. I just don't know. I need to know more about that situation. You should probably write me on Girl Talk with Guys, or if you cash at me. Did you cash at me? No, that was somebody else. Yeah. You sent cash app. I'd like to know more about that so I can give you more specific information, because that could go a lot of different directions. Write me and let me know some more about that. Imagine Av. I'm 27. The guy I like is 2 years younger. That doesn't matter. 2 years is just not enough time, so that doesn't matter. I don't feel like I want to wait for him to grow up more yet, because I don't because I know no other guys as well. Okay, so regard like never wait for anybody to grow up. And he's not immature because he's 25. He's immature because he's immature. A lot of guys are 45 around here, still doing the same shit that they were doing when they were 20. So that's not necessarily the reason that you're having a disconnect with him, is that he's 2 years younger than you. If you don't want to wait for him to grow up, don't wait. Just move on. It's not a good idea to hold off and miss opportunities at love just because you're waiting on a specific one, when he might not even be the one you're supposed to be with. You might meet a guy that sweeps you off your feet, but you'll be too distracted with this guy over here who needs to grow up. So it really isn't about age, but it does have a lot to do with just who he is as a person. And like I said, I meet women who are dating 50-year-olds that act like 21-year-olds, and they're very disenchanted with the level of maturity that they're meeting with men that have gray hair. So it's not about that age. It's about his intent to love you and be with you, and he just doesn't have it in him. Jamitris Taylor, welcome to the podcast family. Elevate. Thank you so much, man. We haven't done the Elevate podcast in a while, and I don't even know how to eliminate my memberships on here. I guess I could edit them, but I appreciate anybody who's a member and supporting, knowing that, and just showing love. I should probably tell you guys this while you're here. Today, I figured out the your super easy way to strip my YouTube video audio files from the video. So what I will do is I've already created a podcast called Kevin Talks Guys with Girls podcast on Anchor. I'll start uploading all of my YouTube videos as audio files only, just for you. Those of you who prefer podcasts, you can take my videos in podcast form if you don't like getting on YouTube and watching videos all day. And that way you can download my podcast and you can drive around in the car or go on a long distance trip or wherever you want to do, and you'll have my video. So I'm about to start releasing a lot of videos on a podcast, but they're just the audio versions to these YouTube videos minus the "What's Good YouTube." I might say "What's Good Podcast Family," and continue the video. And so if you like podcasts and that's how you take in information, check me out. Not right now; it's not there. I'll be doing it this weekend. Somebody said, Demetra says, I've been with a guy for 3 years. He says because of my roommate and his smoking, he won't come to my home. I drive an hour and 40 minutes just about every weekend to see him. Too much to explain. I don't know. I think that you're doing way too much work. You shouldn't have to. All the contact should not be on you. Your relationship then becomes a service that you provide when you're going through so much and being so inconvenienced every time, and exclusively being inconvenienced. He's not doing any of the work. You're just coming to see him. It's like he's in prison and you're just going to visit him all the time. You know, the families of prisoners go through a lot of shit just trying to get into the jail. And I feel like he's giving you that type of treatment where you're probably dropping off a conjugal visit and then you're leaving after a while, and it's a lot of gas money. I don't know, man. I don't like that setup. I think he needs to be inconveniencing himself, because that's how a relationship works. It's about compromise. It's about meeting each other in the middle. Both putting forth effort, and I don't know if that requires very much effort if you're always the one in the car. I just don't think it's fair. But if he treats you well otherwise, what the hell do I know? I'm just some guy from the internet. Prayer and patience, love and respect. She says, Kevin, what are the keys to a successful marriage, especially since good great. I need some water. Y'all hear that shit? Hold on. She says, Kev, what are the keys to a successful marriage, especially since most marriages fail? Most marriages fail. A large percentage of marriages fail because of finances. So financial education is one of the keys to a successful marriage. And I've this year, over the last actually 2 years, I've been just drowning myself in financial education and learning everything I can know about everything I can know. money problems are a huge part of divorce court. Then you have your infidelity. So I think that you need to understand your partner's sexual desires and not necessarily fulfill them all. I don't think anybody should have that weight on their shoulders to be perfect sexually or to do some of the horrible, like ridiculous shit that some people want you to do sexually. But sexually, you need to be malleable and open to at least have certain discussions, sexual intimacy, emotional intimacy, and then financial education, so that both of you aren't fighting each other or for how to run the books of the home. Um, Obviously, friendship, compromise, patience, but financial education, an ability to explore each other sexually without the barriers and the shyness and the inhibitions. Um, that's one. Just a level of intimacy that would require you guys to always be honest and share with each other. Um, so financial education, obviously intimacy, sexual exploration, also being on a journey, always being on a journey to self improve with one another. I think that if one person's on a journey or one person is growing exponentially quicker than another person, then you reach the finish line as different people, and you reach different finish lines. So it's important that you, as a couple, um, just grow together in some way. So have a couples thing, have something that you're doing together that's propelling the family together. And if you're on a journey together, it gives you an opportunity to grow in the same directions at the same pace and always have something in common. So I hope that helps. Miss Anthony, she says, I'm 37 and I've been talking to this guy every day, and he's 30. He seems to like much younger women, but I'm insecure and sheltered, need help with confidence. So you're talking to a guy that's younger than you, and you're saying he seems to like much younger women, much younger women. I think if he's talking to you, he just likes women. I don't think he has a preference. I think he's looking for beauty. He's looking for companionship. He's looking for compatibility. So yes, he's going to look at much younger women as well. But whether you were a young woman or not, if you were a young woman and like you're 22 and a 22-year-old walks past your man and she's finer than you and you know it, is it really about her age, or is it he's just seeing a fine ass woman? Like at this point, you're not necessarily competing with younger women for being younger because you're 37. You're actually not. You're really on the bottom side of age. You're approaching some things that would obviously touch your confidence a little bit. But for him, he's seeing a beautiful woman in 37 and he's seeing a beautiful woman in 27. So um, he's in a sexual prime still, or maybe he's not. What is the sexual prime? 25, 23 to 28? I don't know. He's still pretty active, probably in his mind anyway. So you being insecure about what he likes is the problem. You can't quantify what he likes and what he wants. And as soon as you try to get in his head and figure out what he wants, your brain is going to just replace all of their logic and the normal the normal peaceful thinking with a bunch of horrific fear mongering. And so it's important that it's very important that you stop comparing yourself to the younger women with the higher asses and the more perky breasts, if that's a thing that you're noticing, or the tighter waist, if that's a thing that you're noticing, or the less wrinkles, or whatever it is that's bothering you about your age, because you're only 37. You're not even you're really not. I don't think you're aging at the moment. I don't think that that's what we consider age, on this side of things. But I can tell you that your confidence has to be about your self-esteem and not about what you think of others and how you stack up against others. Like I told VN earlier, stop comparing yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And as long as he's treating you well, focus on how he's treating you. And that's your confirmation of what he wants. If he's not treating you well, then that's the confirmation gone. But as long as he's confirming what he wants, being you, by always being attentive and always taking care of his responsibilities with you, you don't have nothing to worry about. But confidence is one of those things that, um, and loving yourself. Crystal P says, Kev, can you talk a little bit more about loving yourself? So this goes in the same boat. Confidence and loving yourself has so much more to do with being proud of who you are and what you're doing, and being proud of the decisions you're making, then whether or not somebody compares to you and you seem to lose that battle, or in comparison to another woman, you're less beautiful, you're less tall, you're less attractive, you're less smart, you're less educated, you're less accomplished. Like, all of those things are very good reasons to get down on yourself if you're comparing yourself to other people. But the problem is, a lot of times when we compare ourselves to other people, it's because we're not content enough with ourselves. Like, we've decided that we're not enough, so we look to someone who's doing more, sometimes for motivation, but it has the adverse effect of really demotivating us and making us feel small. So first of all, the thing that makes you feel really great about yourself is being proud of your decisions. Just being proud of the life you live day to day, the decisions you make day to day. Anytime you have to battle yourself for guilt, anytime you have to convince yourself that you're not stupid because you're guilty about a decision, or you're not an idiot because you're guilty about a guy you entertained, or how far you went with him. Anytime you're in conflict with your own decisions, you're going to have issues with confidence. So what I always tell people that have self-love issues or self-confidence issues is to, in essence, get in agreement with yourself. The version of you that you would admire, the version of you that you will love, the version of you that you would be really, really proud of, has a certain way about her. The way you imagine yourself at your most high and most empowered place, that's a completely different character, right? Like, I imagine myself, prosperous on a new level, as an old wise man. I've always wanted to be an old wise man. So, like, when I'm older, I want to be that old dude that still has the young guy's ears. But, I say to say, I imagine myself in a certain way that, like, that's an admirable version of me. That's Kevin 2 or 3.0. He's going to be amazing. And I'd make decisions every day that get me to that are congruent with whatever he would do. What would Kevin 2.0 do? What would the greatest version of Kevin do? What would strong Kevin do? What would amazing Kevin do? What would high power Kevin do? And I do those things. And because I'm practicing being the version of myself that I already admire, the version of myself that I see, and I'm trying to make come to pass, it's easier enough for me to identify the things that I'm doing here now and be pleased with myself, because I'm only following the footsteps of the man that I admire most, which is my most high power self, right? The greatest version of me, the strongest version of me. And it's imaginary, but, like, obviously I'm not the strongest version of myself now. I could be better. I'm have evolving and growing and improving and maturing to do. But I know what I want to represent, and I know what I want said at my funeral. I know what I want to leave behind as a legacy. So every day I make decisions toward that, and I feel confidence because of it, because I'm proud of those decisions. I'm proud of those decisions, and every day I'm happy with myself because I've done well. It was a job well done. And so find a way to impress yourself with your decision making and with your habits and with the things that you do and ingest. Also, try to ingest more positive energy. Way too many people taking a lot of negative energy, and what goes into a man or woman is what comes out of them. Um, this is something I never spoke about. Maybe I do a Kefik Talks Life video about it. Remember, I do have a second channel. It's called Kefik Talks Life. I haven't uploaded in a few months because I've just been busy trying to make sure this channel doesn't die. YouTube tried to kill it. Anyway, um, one of the things that, man, I lost my damn train of thought talking down on YouTube. What was I talking about? Confidence, self-esteem. Man, I done lost my train of thought. I was about to give y'all a gem too. Maybe I'll be reminded of it. But yeah, be very proud of everything you're doing by connecting to your higher self and the person that you wish you want to be, and doing the things that they would do. Remember, almost like that "What would Jesus do" thing that was popular in the '90s. But what would the best version of you do? What would the strongest version of you do? And do that, and compare yourself to you if you were stronger. Or you felt stronger, and always do those things. Follow that person's lead, and I think that you'll start to feel more confident. But damn, I had another point. I had an amazing point I never made, and I was gonna make it, and I forgot it. My bad. Um, okay. Queen Heart says a male friend started to argue with me about hanging with the new man, then disappeared. How can he throw away our friendship? He had always had women. He always had women and was never serious about me. Well, maybe he doesn't want to see you fall for that particular guy. Maybe he's interested in you in a different way than he's ever expressed, and he's only flaunted those women around you in an effort to maintain his emotional independence and in an effort to look as though he didn't care. Um, he might be throwing your friendship away to protect his heart. Generally, a guy doesn't retreat from a friendship with a woman that hasn't done anything with him or to him unless he's being hurt by her and he feels pain when he's around her and he looks at her, especially when she's being laid down by another man or experiencing the love of another man in whatever way. He might not be able to witness it. It might be like a horror movie to him. It might be hurting him. So he'd rather just start a fight or something and then, exit your life. And that way it looks like it came from a place of power and not from a place of pain. All hell Jay. I'm gonna answer your question. Um, and then I got some more here. I got some more super chats. Somebody said, "All hell Jay, I took your advice and had a good date. My date has trust issues from previous marriage, and everything I told him, he compared me to his ex-wife. Is that a red flag? Yes. He's not necessarily over his ex-wife. If he's speaking her up, if he's talking about her a whole lot during your date, he's not allowing you to be an individual. It means that everything you do will be judged through the lens of his ex-wife. I think I need to clean my nails. So yeah, I don't think that that's a good sign that he's still making reference to her and everything that you're saying on a date, especially on the first date. He might be damaged. He needs some counseling before he gets into dating. Let me see. Let me see. All right. I got some super chats here. Somebody said, also, men know men, but many fathers, brothers, etc., rarely share game with a woman that are close to them. Why is that? I don't think that a lot of fathers and brothers want to know what their female loved ones are doing. I think that it can be a hard thing to deal with, trying to figure out what uh, you know who's sleeping with your sister, who's potentially mistreating your cousin, or especially for a father, like what your daughter's doing. You try to maintain I would imagine you're trying to maintain the innocence that you have for them in your heart and in your mind, right? And it's just because you don't want to worry about them in that way. And so sometimes you ignore a person's adulthood and their sexuality, especially if they're a family member, a female family member, because you don't want to imagine them being mistreated or used or things of that nature. And it's just a topic of avoidance. It's uncomfortable. So a lot of guys won't get into it for that reason. But that's the kind of the coward's way, because I think that if you have the opportunity to help people, then you help them. And it becomes about you trying to ask those questions and starting those conversations to let them know that they're welcome to that portion of your life, or at least the information that you're willing to share. Sometimes they don't know how to start that conversation, and so if you want that from them and you think they have something to impart for you, you think they have some knowledge to impart, it's very important that you should. It's very important that you just start that conversation and maybe ask some questions. L Perkins said, I did a $4.99 super chat question but didn't attach the message. Okay, L Perkins, I'm sorry, it's taking a little bit longer than expected. She says, Kev, I reunited with someone after 32 years. And found we've been in circles without crossing paths until now. We finally connected. We finally connect, but we're daily texting, phone once a week. Says he's still interested. Well, if he's only talking to you on the phone once a week, I've never spoken to a woman only once a week that I was still interested in, that I knew I had access to and I was welcome to. So yeah, he's still interested, but his interest is not as high as one would hope it is, and maybe you just have some growing to do, or maybe he doesn't know how welcome he is to you. Maybe he's just dating other women and still trying to figure out who he likes more. That happens. That's not a guy thing. Everybody does that. For most people. So I suppose it seems, for me, you have to figure out if you want to, because you said recently reunited with someone after 32 years, but I don't know how long you've been reunited. So if he's only reunited with you for the last couple of weeks, then it makes sense that you're only talking once a week. texting on a regular basis, just building your rapport up. But if you've been talking for like, a month or so and you're getting less contact than you were at any given point in that relationship, then yes, he's probably losing interest. So I guess you just have to have a conversation with him, or just follow his lead. If he's moving away, you move away too. Get busy, but don't set yourself up for failure. Again, get around some new energy and make him earn your attention if that's in case if that's what he's doing. Miss Anthony says, "There's more. Please read my other messages." Okay, wait. It's very okay. Miss Anthony. She said, I had deep feelings for this 23-year-old in Spain, and he talks about her and other girls, and I'm worried that he's using me to make her jealous. He's just finding a replacement for her. Yeah, being a rebound is, as she said, he's been mean to me and apologized. It sounds like you have a tumultuous relationship on your hands. It sounds like you got some drama with another woman, some other energy that's lingering, that's hovering because of what he's doing. Apparently, he's making it obvious that you're in his life, and he's making a display of it. It's not a good thing that he's doing that. It means he's still trying to get her attention. It means that he's still trying to make sure that she understands that he doesn't need her and he's moving on. And then when he's mistreating you, he's probably mistreating you because he resents the fact that you're not her. So that's possible. And again, I could just be wrong, but it seems like your suspicions, when you put them all together, are valid enough for you to start at least taking a proper inventory of what's going on, and maybe asking him some harder questions. But if he's mean to you, then why would you stay with him anyway? If a man's mistreating you, being mean to you, being toxic to you, and especially if it's in the beginning of a relationship, he's showing you who he is. Just believe him. It would probably be best for you to get away from the drama and just move on. And if he wants you, he'll make sure that you don't go anywhere, or he'll attempt to anyway. But I wouldn't stick around for any guy who's talking to other girls and talking about other girls and trying to make other women jealous with you. It doesn't make any sense for me. So do your best to just find somebody that has eyes for you only, and you're not splitting attention with them. All Hell Jay says, I took your, okay, I already read that, but just making sure. No, I got All Hell Jay. She said, I took your advice. I had a good day. My day has trust issues from a previous marriage. Everything he said. I already got that one. Let me see. Somebody says, I'm going to dig into this. Somebody says, I'm looking for a question. Ask me, what is this? By the way, he was my neighbor. He was trying to. Let me see. Don't do it. Sometimes they never grow up. I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so somebody says, somebody telling somebody to educate themselves ain't got nothing to do with me. Anyway, have any advice on getting over being the only single friend? Is really depressing. Yeah. Being the only single friend puts you in a very odd place. You're an odd number no matter what. You're a wheel, an extra wheel, no matter what. So it's somebody said, Kev, put your advertisement in the super chat. That makes sense. That's actually a good idea. But yeah, I guess I did a video a while ago about being happy while you're single in a world, or being surrounded by people in happy relationships. I need to find that video. What you should probably do is watch that video, because it was like 7 or 8 minutes of me just explaining that exact thing, being happy when you're surrounded by relationships. It's about a year old, maybe even more. So if you start at about a year old and scroll through, if you just go to my uploads, not like my recents or my homepage on YouTube, but just go to my uploads, start at a year. But I did a video about that last year, and I think that it could be some help to you. And it would be more helpful for you to go to that video instead of me trying to ramble off whatever I said on that video. All right, so how do you avoid the Jezebel? I don't know. They are everywhere. V Vaca. Vivica. Oh, disregard. Sorry. She says, talking to an old friend, both divorced with kids. He's 14 hours away. Wants me to visit. Both very attractive, but weary of too much temptation to sleep together if we aren't dating. Don't want a one night stand. Would that ruin it? Not necessarily. I guess it just depends on how good a friend your old friend is. But if he wants you to visit and you're both very attracted and you're tempted to sleep with each other, but you don't want to sleep with each other if you aren't dating, then you probably shouldn't be going down there for overnights unless you have your own hotel room and plan on making sure you sleep in that hotel room and you don't have sex before you get back to that hotel room. If you're afraid to add sex to it, then overnights might be problematic for your plan. So if I was you, I would probably not make that trip or make that trip and have a hotel room or somewhere else to stay and try not to spend too much late night time together because it could get a little rough. Let me see. But yeah, I don't. It depends on how great a friend he was. If he was just an old friendly, that's different. But if he was a real friend, he was a best friend, he was a person who was helpful to you and supportive and all of that stuff, then one night stand doesn't necessarily ruin that. But if he was just friendly for all of these years, then it could be a problem. Robin, I hope that helps. Robin Bedminster. I'm a single parent of a child with a severe disability. I've been single for the past 6 years. She's 10. What would be the best time to mention her challenges when dating? Um, I think that might be first. That might be first or second date conversation. Now, if you're only talking on dates and you're not talking on the phone, but if you're talking on the phone, um, once you have a great enough conversation with somebody, I think it's easier to insert that into the conversation if you're sharing a lot about each other in that conversation. So that's why it's really important for women to make sure that you're having great conversations with these guys before the date. If you're waiting for the date to have a first great conversation with these guys, if you're waiting for the date to really dig into who a person is, then you've done yourself a disservice. That's conversation for before the date. If you get used to talking to somebody on the phone, the first and second conversation where it gets personal would be a good start for that. You don't want it to feel like a confession, and it will if you hold it off after or despite of numerous conversations, a 10th or 12th time talking, then you say, oh yeah, did I mention I have a daughter with a disability? That might feel like a bait and switch. So for you, it's just important that um, you say that in the first few conversations that you have that mean anything and that have some substance. That way, it looks like you're trying to be transparent and genuine and making sure that he understands who you are and what makes you you. Lovely flower. There's nothing a woman can do to keep a man faithful. That has to be the man's decision. But what can a woman do to make it easier for a man to be faithful? If you got a cheater, the top part of what you said is still about right. But I think to make it easier, emotional intelligence, not having an attitude problem, dealing with your anger appropriately is probably going to be very helpful. Limiting or not limiting, but at least challenging your sexual inhibitions. If he has a sexual appetite that might not match yours, but if as long as you can apply a certain level of fearlessness to your exploration of each other, within reason, because so guys are gonna tell you to, hey, get your friend and so and we're gonna come over here and we're gonna have a group thing. Maybe that's not what you want to do. So I'm not telling you to just do everything that a man wants you to do. I'm just telling you to make sure that your inhibitions aren't ruling your sex life, and that what you're not doing is a choice and not based out of necessarily fear, but it's moral. Don't let anxiety run your bedroom. But even so, you can have the most porn star like bedroom acrobatics, and if a man's gonna cheat, he's still gonna cheat because variety is a spice of life. Not whether or not you do 100 things. It's like he wants to try one thing from 100 people. Ashley Williams says, Kev, would you consider a family YouTube channel? Kev, Party of Four, I'd watch. Me and my wife are actually probably going to end up with a family channel. But right now, we're trying to buy a house that's more conducive for uh, like me working, having an office, having a YouTube studio space that we can film. Well, my house, this house is a lived-in house. It's conducive for a family of four to live in, but we would drive ourselves crazy trying to keep this place YouTube ready. It's just we got a 3 and a 5 year old. It's too much going on in this house, and so we're buying a different house. All of these super chats are going on the house. So I appreciate the people who are dropping super chats off. But yeah, KF Family of Four or KF Party of Four, that's a good one. House of Hick, I don't know what the hell we would call it. Probably KF Party of Four. I think I like that one. That's dope. Pretty girl, write that one down. But she was actually mentioning that she'd actually like to start a family channel or even a couples channel, uh, when the time comes. And so I want to make sure that we get a KF Party at four. Good. She just texted me. So yes, that is happening. That will be a thing, but it won't be a thing this year. We're probably timing our house out for about 6 months, saving money, getting everything in place, just figuring out exactly what we want. Not sure if we want to build or we want to buy. I guess it depends on what the market is when we're ready to push the button. But we will be doing a family channel here pretty soon. But I want a house that's a little bit more conducive to a YouTube channel. To be running around with a camera all the damn time. I live in a normal, regular house. You need a little bit of space for that stuff. Um, Let me see. Uh, okay, my bad. Oh, Miss Anthony or Anthropy. Sorry. He admitted he used a female roommate for rent and sex, but he said he helped her too. He wants me to visit. How do I not get taken for granted? I'm wondering if see that's different because I'm wondering if that gentleman used that female roommate for rent and sex with her knowledge. Was it a fair exchange or was he manipulating her? I would not. Now this is the guy who's got the other women around, who's trying to make you jealous. He's using women for sex and rent. I don't know if she was a willing party or she thought more was coming. It just seems like he's a scoundrel and a manipulator. I'm not really a fan of this guy from the few comments that you've written about this brother. I think that he's a piece of shit. Sounds like it anyway, but I could be wrong. I don't know him. From what you said, trying to make you jealous. The whole ex thing, still talks to other girls, being mean to you and apologize. Now he's talking about he's using women for rent and sex, and we're supposed to assume he's grown out of that. Apparently, I just don't know about this guy. I think that he's a little bit flawed in ways that I wouldn't want to deal with. He has character flaws and integrity flaws. They're not imperfections. They're not things that are happening without his consent, will, or intention. He's intentionally being a shithead. So I just think that you should probably stop talking to this guy. Right. So somebody just texted me. Somebody said, "I'm glad you said that about men who have been in bad relationships. This explains a lot with him. I feel he moves too slow. Yeah, a lot of guys who've been in bad relationships move very slow. And thank you for that. I think I missed your super chat earlier. Um, Imagine Av. But yeah, when guys have been through a lot of trauma, they tend to go extremely slow, and just like a bag lady that just like the proverbial bag lady that Erica Badu spoke of. Somebody with a lot of baggage, coming from a lot of trauma, not knowing how to handle it or deal with it, or create a new reality. Guys do the same thing. Guys have trouble getting through the beginning portions of a relationship with trust, just because they've been through a lot. And so guys, because they're more self-protective and they're more survival oriented, will make sure that they don't get taken advantage of twice, which means that the next person that they love or attempt to love has to wait a lot longer. I think that it took me longer to just think about marriage, just because I've been in basically 2 year, situations and relationships. And hell, after 2 years, things fell apart. So I didn't trust that 2 years was enough time. At that point, it was like, okay, I need 3 years or 4 years. Maybe I need to double up to see if she, just switches things up. And but I wasn't mistreated. I was fully committed, but I just wasn't thinking about marriage because I needed to know that, I wasn't gonna come home and this motherfucking bags was gonna be packed because you got bored or you this or that. So yeah, guys, because they're so self-protective and they're always analyzing threats, not just to them physically, but to them emotionally, they need some more time, especially if they've been through some bad relationships. Miss Anthony, she says, he said her problem was that she fell in love with him. Okay, she fell in love with him, and he didn't do anything to make that happen. He didn't do anything to provoke that at all. I assume. Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's making any strides to be a great person, and it also doesn't sound like he's a person who takes responsibility for his actions. And if every girl around him is crazy and every girl around him is the problem, then he's the problem. Stop dealing with that dude. Um, she said he's very traumatized and comes from a lot of trauma. Yep, and he's gonna traumatize your ass. You're going to come from a lot of trauma after he's done with you. You're going to be the bag lady. Again, y'all stop trying to save these dudes. Like, let these dudes, if they're going to drown, let them drown. But he'll be fine because it'll always be some woman that gives him some ass and gives him some love and attention and affection, even though he doesn't deserve it. But you don't have to be her. If you keep dealing with him and keep trying to figure him out, you'll be heavily traumatized and you'll be the one that somebody's trying to save from their trauma. But you don't have anything coming out. I don't think that brother is doing favors. He said, "Fuck that guy." People get on my damn nerve. Not you, but these guys out here that because they know that you love them, and once they get your affections, they wake your affections up, and they don't want to do nothing with it. Lady, stop thinking you are less than. Rhoda Warren just says, "Lady, stop thinking you are less than." If you're dating a guy, don't be afraid to tell him your wants and needs. If he's not willing to give that to you, if you're not willing to give you what you want, walk. Yes, and if you scare him off with, first of all, thank you, Rhoda. And to add to that, if a guy can be scared off, if a guy can be scared off with your standards, then he has nothing to offer you anyway. So you might as well walk. I don't know why people are so afraid to scare men off with standards. That's the point. You're literally interviewing a person to see if they can do the job. And it's almost like telling somebody, hey, okay, you might have to work Tuesday. And they're like, wait. I can't work Tuesday. You're like, oh, damn, please don't leave. Please don't leave the interview. Like you just like, okay, well, you can't work Tuesday. You're not hired. If you can't be a man, you're not hired. If you can't do what needs to be done, you're not hired. You don't have what it takes to be with me if you can't uphold the basic standards, and that's how you have to deal with these guys. Let me see. A guy I dated for a few dates always told me that his past girlfriends were crazy. Why do guys always tell us this stuff? Teresa, guys tell you that their ex-girlfriends were crazy because, first of all, that should always be a red flag that every ex-girlfriend is crazy. If every ex-girlfriend is crazy, that means he's crazy or he's damaged and he's not taking responsibility. In every relationship, there is some blame to go around for the most part. There's a little bit to go around for, and if a man can't see his part in a relationship crumbling, and to the degree that he just tells you, oh yeah, she was crazy, and she was crazy too, and you know what, she was crazy too. Listen, the seventh floor of the hospital in your town would be full of all them women were just crazy. If that way, with that many damn women was crazy, then they'd all be on the seventh floor with straight jackets on in the padded room. The truth of the matter is, most guys villainize their ex-woman in order to mold and form the new woman into acting a certain way. She was crazy. She did this thing I hated and despised. Please don't do that because you might be looking crazy, right? Oh, I'm a great person. It wasn't me. It was them. It was I didn't do it. They did it. It's their fault. That's the 6-year-old's way of thinking that every time a relationship crumbles, it's somebody else's fault, that you didn't have anything to do with it and they were crazy. Not that they disagreed with you, not that they were incompatible, but no, that they were crazy. You've gone from rejecting responsibility to diagnosing them with mental illness because you don't want to take responsibility. I think that that is indicative of a person who is very narrow-minded and very immature and very selfish. And so when a guy starts telling you his ex-girlfriends were crazy, especially if he has more than one crazy story of a woman being crazy about him, you need to get away from him because he's the one that's crazy. He's escaped the asylum, and now he's trying to figure out how to get you in there with them, and you're going to be crazy in the next story. Let me see. By hearing and hearing by, she said, "Wow, you said back, lady. I had a dream of my ex dumping a big black bag of complaints on me, and none of them were mine." I'm glad to hear that confirmation. I've been no contact for nearly 3 years. Yeah, continue to be no contact. People don't have nothing to offer you. The hell with it. Let me see. Make sure I get to the last one. So I said, also, while I'm doing promo, you guys can visit the Wise Sisterhood or join the Wise Sisterhood at ybslove.com. And the Wise Sisterhood is $10 a month. You can watch me build a dating program from scratch. There are some elevated ideas in there, and there's some stuff that you might not have ever heard about or ever really experienced through the traditional YouTube dating coach platform. So I think that if you're looking forward to getting some different stuff from me, then you would get on YouTube and you have a longer attention span for more specific ideas. This would be a good idea to get into as I build it. Right now, I think we're 6 videos in, 4 official videos and 2 prerequisites. There are homework assignments and a private Facebook page, a group where you can email me and we can discuss your homework assignments as they pertain to you. So you get a little bit of personal coaching too, along with that package. So it's a really good deal for just $10. And there are no dating programs for just $10. It's just not a thing that exists. People are charging $500, $1,000. $10 a month, you can watch me build it in real time, and you can get access to me while you build it. It's a good idea, especially if you need a little bit more help and a little bit more access. Let me drink some of this. Somebody says, having by hearing and hearing by says, having boundaries doesn't make you mean or uncaring. That's absolutely right. Boundaries just mean you care about yourself. But no, it doesn't make you mean. I think that people who wish to trample your boundaries and people who would hope that you don't have any boundaries are the mean and uncaring ones. You're not mean and uncaring just because you have boundaries. People who seek to use you for the lack of boundaries are mean and uncaring. What the hell is it? Hold on. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Let me see. All right, making sure. I was just making sure I didn't have another super chat I missed. Okay, somebody says, love hearing all your videos, learning a lot. I appreciate that. Let me see. Somebody said, this guy cares, like really cares about me, but I cannot tell if he likes me. Can you please explain how a guy likes you over texting? I have maybe 2 videos about how to tell if a guy likes you over texting. So it'd probably be easier for you to just watch both of those videos. I normally mention texting in a thumbnail. So it's how to tell if a guy likes you through text messages. That's one. And then there's another one where I spoke a lot about text messaging. So just look through my video library and you'll find how to tell if a guy likes you by texting video. I think that would be a good start for you. I'm getting off here at 12:20. Just so everybody knows. Also, like I said, if you don't know your coronavirus status or you don't know your HIV status, which is the most important part to me, you definitely need to get checked. I don't give a damn if you go get checked at your local doctor's office. If you're too afraid to get checked at your local doctor's office, please just buy yourself a test kit. Get checked. Know your status. Don't be out here being reckless, trying to be empowered and whatever other ideas that people attach to sexuality now. Please know what the hell you're doing, because 1 million people a day catch an STD. Many of them are permanent. You can't get rid of them. Just letting y'all know. So click the link in the description box of my last video today. I think the video was called Some about age gaps. Anyway, the link in that video will take you right to your sexual STD, STI test kit, or your coronavirus test kit, or you can get your thyroid checked or whatever else if you just worry about the doctor's office. And I don't think anything replaces the doctor, but there are some times where people just don't want to be in the presence of a doctor talking about their vagina business, and I get that, but still know what your status is. uh Flixbix 1121, or I'm sorry, Flixbix 11211 11211 whatever. uh Thanks for your perspective and thanks for your perspective and take care of yourself. Don't see all of your videos, but enjoy them. YouTube doesn't always show everybody my videos. Like I said, I think YouTube has been trying to crush my channel for some time now, man. Again, I don't know if it's intentional. I think they adjusted the algorithm, uh, and so now, like, I get some videos, I get the type of views that I would get if I had just started a YouTube channel like a month ago, and then other times I get the type of YouTube videos views that are indicative of a person with 211 or 12,000 subscribers. So I don't never know what to expect in my YouTube traffic anymore. Sometimes I just do a video and a couple of thousand people watch it. If it helps those people, I'm good with that. I'm here to help. So while I like the advertising revenue that I might make from a video getting a lot of views, I'm more concerned with that it helps somebody. But it is frustrating knowing that YouTube is just not showing people my videos as much as they used to. Vanessa Harris, ladies, these men will posture to set you up for low expectations. Oh, absolutely. Men are always trying to figure out how to get you to accept what they have coming for you. And so there's always a game being played, especially men who are a little bit more nefarious in nature, who don't have your best intentions at heart, or who don't have a love for you or a room to love, but they only they're really just looking for exploration and variety, and they're feeding their bodies with you. So always make sure that you pay very close attention to a guy. You have to be observant and you have to be vigilant, because there's a lot of posturing going on. There's a lot of jockeying for position going on. There's a lot of pump faking going on. Pump faking is a basketball reference. You hit a guy with a jab step pump fake, and he jumps up and you go around and dunk the ball. Point is, there's some bait and switching going on with these guys. So you got to make sure that you're vigilant and you're taking your time. Somebody says, Evolved Soul says, hi, Kev. Do you think men are changing these days? Yes. I think that the world is changing, not just men. Unfortunately, in the same, as negatively as men have changed, women have changed. Men are as disappointed in new women as women are disappointed in men, to be quite honest. Long gone are the days where you could feel like, man, your woman don't know everybody that walks past her at the mall for the wrong reasons. It's a different world out here. I'm actually very thankful that I don't have to pick a wife out of what I've been seeing. Everybody's changing. The world is changing. Women are are sexually empowered, and I'm for that. But I'm just not for the overutilization and the overuse of sexuality and the weaponization of sexuality. And when men are irresponsible, they're manipulating. They're weak. They're soft. And that comes from decades of now 1 or 2 decades, the last 20 years of men watching single mothers play the role of man and woman, doing a great job, but then adopting an idea that, okay, those responsibilities that I've seen my mom, fulfill are a woman's responsibilities. What then does a man do if a young man doesn't see a man operating in the fullness of his masculinity and his responsibilities? Then he never adopts the idea or the job of a man. If he sees a woman doing everything that should be done by a man, then he says, okay, so that's the woman's job. What does a man do? Well, all I know men do is go around smashing a bunch of women, tapping a bunch of women, screwing them into the dirt, and making babies, and then going off to another one and sowing their wild oats. That's what men do. So young men come up thinking that the woman has responsibilities, and the man's responsibility is to screw a bunch of women, and that's what makes him a man. And if a guy like myself stands up and says something against that, then it's all, oh, you simping, you simping. First of all, I beat the fuck out of one of these dudes. Like, we could go there, but none of these guys exist in real life. I've never been called that in my face because I will eliminate one of these dudes. But I digress. The thing is this. A lot of these guys have created a culture around what they can get from a woman instead of what they can offer a woman, and what they can offer a family, what they can get from the community instead of what they can give to the community. And until that stops becoming a culture on a mass scale, you have in essence this issue with people changing. So to the question of, do you think men are changing these days? Absolutely, but so are women. We've all changed, and no one gets out of this thing unchanged, unfortunately. And it depends on you whether or not you want to let these things, negative, positive, and indifferent, change you for the better or change you for the worst. Um, there are a lot of things that I want to talk about, but I'll talk more specifically about how men and women have changed in my book that's coming out here pretty soon. I've been writing on it this week. I took some time off to get some more writing done on it, and I'll take some more time off here pretty soon. So the book should be done within the next month. And it'll take about a month for the barcodes and intellectual properties and stuff to go through. But there's a chapter dedicated to the changes that we're all witnessing, just to provide some context for people in lieu of everything else that they're experiencing. But there's a lot of dating advice. There's a lot of things that I haven't said on here on YouTube in this book. But there's also a lot of gems that I'm putting in this book. But I'll explain a lot of concepts, and how the world changed is one of those concepts. I don't think that's what that chapter is called, but I talk about the way men have changed and the way women have changed, and how it's affected our dating experience, and what we need to do to go backwards, and what we need to do to make things better. So I'm really excited about people reading that chapter of the book. I think that they'll be very enlightened by it. And if enough people adopt those ideas, then we can change the culture for the better, and we can actually reverse some of the damage that we're seeing in men and women. We got 5 minutes. Okay. Let me see. Um, uh, uh, Nunez, Marlene Nunez says, "I like guys that aren't the best for me. Guys don't put effort on a woman like they used to before. How can I learn to give a chance to a good man? How do you know a good guy? How do you know a guy is legit, even if he's very busy?" Well, if a guy's too busy to be in your life, then you have your answer. No matter how great he is, if he's going to neglect you, what the hell is the point of that? Um, so I think that it's important that you still remember what you require in a relationship, and stop worrying so much about um, if a guy's gonna put effort in. If you require effort, then that's what you respond to. Uh, and if you require time and attention, then that's what you respond to. If a guy doesn't have time for you, and a guy's not putting in effort for you, then he's not the one. He doesn't have what it takes, because you have standards, you have wants and needs, and that's what you're trying to get as a guy who's going to give you what you need. Somebody says, please answer Natalia or Natalia Brooks' money question. Let me see if I can find it, because I got a couple of minutes. I got 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to find this question. So I'm going to show some love. She said money question. Let me see. I wish she would put that in. I'm not seeing the question. I don't know how long ago she asked the question. We've been here for quite a while at this point. If she can ask that question again, I probably butchered the hell out of her name, and I apologize for that. But if she could ask that, Natija Brooks, if you could ask that question again, I'll sit at the bottom and I'll answer it if you get it in within the next couple of minutes. Somebody said, I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. Um, so Money says, thanks for all the advice. I appreciate you. Thank you. CC Monet said her question was, should a woman with a lot of money pretend to be broke when dating men to avoid being used by them? I think that is, that's a very good question. First of all, love and respect. I had a conversation about this with an acquaintance that I've developed recently, who's in that similar boat. I think that a woman with a lot of money should not pretend to be broke, but just be avoidant of that conversation, the details therein, not necessarily the conversation, but the details therein. She can say what she does, maybe, but I don't get into the numbers, the passion of it all, because you don't know who you're talking to at first. If you're not against lying, if I was a rich man, let's say I was a rich man and I was single, or I had, even if I was, if I was doing how I'm doing now when I was single, and my money would stretch a lot farther if I didn't have three other mouths to feed. So, if I was single and I was well off, I definitely would not tell women, or if I was looking for love, you learn after a while that impressing people with your finances and your cars and your possessions doesn't necessarily get you the most genuine type of love or attention. If I was a rich man, if I was filthy rich, I would definitely pretend to be broke. I would pretend to be very normal, not broke, but normal, very mediocre. And then if a woman loved me as a mediocre man, then it would just be a pleasant surprise to her that I had a lot of money. So if I'm a woman who has a lot of money, and you said a lot of money, then yes, don't tell a man you're a millionaire or a thousandaire. Um, just say, hey man, be very vague and ambiguous about your job. Pretend not to like it or not, or talk about it. Don't talk about it too much. As everybody works. Anyway, what's going on with you? Always deflect that conversation unless you're called out on it. Try to figure out how to avoid giving him the details that would give him tools to use you if he is a user before you have a reason to trust him. And I don't care. Maybe if you had to be dishonest, that's on you. I ain't gonna tell you to be dishonest, but I'm not opposed to it if I'm trying to protect myself, especially from a user. Until you figure that shit out, it could just be a pleasant surprise to him that y'all not struggling. Anyway, it's 12:20. That's all I got for now. Please go and join the Y Sisterhood at ybslove.com. $10 is a very great bargain for getting all the extra content that people are getting for $10 and all the extra access to me on a private Facebook group. You have to join Y Sisterhood to be in a private Facebook group. If you just join if you just go in the free sanctuary, you can't get in the Facebook group. You have to join the Y Sisterhood at ybslove.com for $10 a month. To get the private Facebook group, and then you can chit chat with me through the comment section, and even chit chat with me in the messages when we're discussing your homework assignments and how the subject matters pertain to you. If you need a consultation or email advice, you can go to girltalkwithguys.com. Again, that's girltalkwithguys.com. That's my blog. I haven't put a blog on there in over a year. I just really been using it for the email and the consultation booking. Pretty soon I'll start putting content on there though, but if you want to call or an hour-long phone call or email advice, that's where you can get it. Actually, this weekend, either tonight or tomorrow, I'll probably start doing FaceTimes. Now, FaceTimes will be more expensive because they're a lot less comfortable. I have to actually put clothes on to be on FaceTime with somebody, and a lot of times I'm not necessarily dressed. I'm just minding my own business, laying down or doing something else. So FaceTimes will be taxed a little bit, but if you want to FaceTime, that will be available after tomorrow, I believe. I'll put a promo code or something on, or I'll do some kind of deal to open that up, and you can find that link probably on Instagram tomorrow. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should probably do that because they always know when my videos are coming out. They know when I have products coming out. They always know everything first because that's just what Instagram is good for. It's getting the word out. Let me say letsgetchecked.com. Shout out to them. YBSlove.com, girltalkwithguys.com. I think I've promoted to death. I appreciate all y'all watching. I appreciate y'all asking these questions. I appreciate y'all attention and y'all caring. Y'all love and y'all support. I'm getting tired. I'm sleepy. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about, but I will get with y'all later. Have a good night. Be easy. Bye. all of those things. I think I hit. I think